Can you top that?
On one wall of my gun room, this one's obviously different. And that's why I'm, it's Man Titty Tuesday. I'm topless at 40. I'm a Willie Nelson fan.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where the old boy just needed to burn one. So she'll cut off the cuddling, bro. And I can't be having that. You know what I'm saying?
Let's talk Man Titty Tuesdays. Was there anybody in the label that saw that idea, with the cigarette and everything, and like freaked out?
No, that was a long day, man, and it got to the point where, I hadn't drank in 13 years, but, I'm a Willie Nelson fan.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where the old boy just needed to burn one. So I think they did their best to make it look like a cigarette.
Oh, okay.
But, I just
so is that like a joint
break.
Or a blunt? Or
a little joint.
Oh, okay.
Jeter.
Okay. A little Jeter. Did they? Was that like a point of contention where they like, I need to make it look like a cigarette?
It was discussed, but I don't think it really mattered either way. So now what it looks like, you can't really tell what it is. It's just, you can tell I'm smoking something.
Yeah.
As long as it ain't a pipe, we're good, I reckon.
It looks like a Marlboro Red. I feel like they did their job on that. Give me some details on baby number 3 while we're here, man. Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited. It was a surprise. I know I can tell you that. I had to be careful about what I say because my wife's well into the pregnancy and we're playing by her rules. So, man, I'm excited. We do know what it is. We do know the name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
so you haven't slipped up at all?
Nah, I slipped up and told folks it's I said him a time or two. So it is a boy.
Okay. I was going to say, that wasn't that hard.
Yeah,
I was about to try to get it. Okay.
Yeah, it's man, we're really excited. It wasn't something we were planning. We had talked about it. She had 2 brothers, so she came from 3. I just have 1 brother, but especially with the way society is these days, I feel like a lot of kids coming up, we have the opportunity to bring another one up in a home that values the family unit. And, my wife and I are really intentional about being parents. We can be friends too, but, we're parents first. And, a lot of the things that are going on in the world these days, I feel like, we have a unique opportunity to raise some kids in the right home with the right ideals and hopefully send them on their way with a good moral compass, with their faith intact. So. Did
your wife being pregnant have anything to do with you being shirtless? Were you like, I'm going to let it out too?
No, I think, the album being tattoos, I got to tell you, man, my wife's been really cool about the whole thing, and if the tables were turned and she was the artist and she was doing a duet, I don't know how I'd feel about that. She's been super cool about that. She was super cool about the album cover. And man, that was one thing we did talk about in house a bunch. It's like, are y'all sure you want me to do this? Because it's I'm shirtless at 40. But it did, like I said, all of my albums before this have had a faith-based title, right? And the first thing you see on me is a giant cross, in the middle of my core, which is, it's a reminder for me to, the idea is for me to prioritize that above anything. And reality is it's hard to prioritize anything in front of your kids and your wife. Mm-hmm. But it's a reminder to me to kind of make a conscious effort in that direction.
And the album also has you have some people on the album, like Gary LaVox. I did not expect that.
It wasn't on anybody's bingo card,
dude.
Yeah.
No, and he's like a real powerhouse vocalist. So was it hard keeping up? Not that you're not, but was it hard keeping up?
Oh no, I'm not, bro. I'm not Carrie Underwood. We ain't gonna try to bend the narrative here. Let's be honest. This thing sounds like diesel fuel and dirt roads and cigarettes. Let's come on. But no, the truth is, Gary and I have been friends for years. And in a more troubled time in my life, my mom, I was in some trouble and sitting somewhere I couldn't leave. And my mom sent me a couple songs, and My Wish was one of them. And there were a couple more. And when I did meet him, we got into a good conversation. I kind of told him that. And dude, when she sent that, I was in a place where I needed to hear it. So he ended up calling my mom. And then we both get to talking, and we're mama's boys. So we always said if we did a song together, it'd be one that our moms could listen to and be proud of, and not have to worry about cuss words and everything. So
wow.
when I wrote this one, it was like, man, I think I got it. You know?
And then Off the Rails sounds like kind of Kicking in the Sticks Part 2.
Let's go, baby.
Earlier in your career when you were playing clubs, what's the craziest thing you ever saw a fan do?
Oh, man, dude, I wouldn't even know where to start or if I could say that on the radio. There's a while we were talking about Colt Ford. He tells it better, but the first time he got on stage with us was a little hole-in-the-wall bar. And to hear him tell it, he said he walked on stage, and in the middle of the song, like guitar solo, I looked at him and said, as soon as this song's over, I'm going to hit the dude in the red hat. You get the dude in the blue shirt. And he said he thought I was joking, didn't think nothing of it. And he said the song ended, and he went to dab me up, turned around, and I was gone. And he looked down there, and I was on the dude in the red hat. He said, I didn't know what the hell to do other than try to find the guy in the blue shirt and hit him.
We asked this question to a bunch of people at the CMAs last year, and I was bummed that I didn't get to ask you. This is a big one I wanted to ask you. How prepared are you for doomsday?
I won't say that I'm like a doomsday prepper, but I will say that one of the goals of the farm, about a few years ago at home, I looked for a farm around my house for 15 years, and it's hard to find big acreage there. And this one's it's not massive. It's 365 acres, but the whole goal for it is to kind of unplug from the matrix and let it be self-sufficient. Should anything ever happen, I want my kids also to have the skill set and the knowledge to be able to take care of themselves if anything were to go bad. You know, it doesn't have to be a civil war or Armageddon, just, you know, to have, you know, I feel like it's better to have it and need it. It's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. So, yeah, we're pretty close to being completely off the grid there with the lower part of the farm. So,
okay.
And, you know, when it comes to guns, I mean, I don't think it's any secret. I tattooed the Second Amendment across the entirety of my back because I was tired of answering questions about where I stood on guns. You know, I believe in the right to protect myself and my family and my country from tyranny if it came to that. But, you know, I feel like it's, you know, I follow, there's a thing called the Warrior Poet Society that a guy named John Lovell started. And there's something on there called the Order of Man. And I forget the guy's name that does it every time. But he said, you know, as husbands and fathers, we have 3 jobs. And that's to protect, provide, and preside. And, you know, it's not so much the surface meaning of what those things are. It's, you know, protecting. It's not just having a gun and being able to protect them from that kind of danger. It's to protect from anything they might face, you know, emotionally. Mm-hmm. You know, doesn't all have to be physical. But, you know, I do feel it like, and this is a core belief of mine, I'm responsible for the safety of my wife and my kids. And in this day and age, I feel like guns are a tool necessary for me to do my job.
Well, okay, so there's an artist, I'm not gonna say his name, but it rhymes with Roast Cologne, and he's on the record as saying this is what he has at his home in Utah. And a lot of the stuff, I got to be honest, I don't know. You probably know what it is. I don't. M14 that Navy SEALs use, a Walther PPK, a 44 Desert Eagle, a M1 911 pistol, a Coble AR-15 assault rifle, 2 gold-plated Glocks. Can you top that?
On one wall of my gun room, yeah. I love the guy, but I like guns. There's a Barrett 50 cal sitting on the wall. There's a few things in there that multi-purpose tools. They're tools, man.
Yeah. Well, like Hank Jr. was in here talking about his cannon.
Top that.
Okay, you don't have the cannon?
That dude, I met his one of the guys that he buys from, and I ain't gonna put his business in the street, but you don't want to break in that dude's house. It's gonna be World War II in that sumbitch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how does it work? Like, do you ever perform with a heater on you? Are we?
I have.
Okay.
I have tried to make a habit out of it.
How does that work? Like, what if you just, I don't know, like.
I have to tuck it back. Because on the front, you know, I like the appendix carry.
Okay.
It's easy to get to, and most of the training I've done is from the appendix carry area. So if it's not right on my hip, so concealed, if I do go on stage, it's in my back. But if you think about it, like tactically, I mean, what good is it if you're on stage? Because if something happens, the probability is that it'll be out in front of you, or somewhere around you, and there's really no reason. I mean, you're gonna shoot into a crowd to try to hit one guy shooting at you. It doesn't make any sense, So I don't. I know there's a lot of guys that do that, and I've done it a couple times when there have been strange situations.
Okay.
That we've had to be careful with. But dude, I have a new security guy. His name's Jack Adams, and dude, he's incredible. So now before shows, times were a lot different then. We're talking about hole in the wall, biker bars, or clubhouses. You never knew what you were going to run into. I've seen them shot, stabbed, you name it. But now, every morning when we wake up at every venue, we have an email that's about a 3 or 4 page detailed, something he's advanced and prepared weeks ahead of time, where we have, a safety location that we go to if something were to go wrong. So, man, what I found at this stage, once you get to a certain stage in your career, if you run into problems, I'd say 90% of the time it's because you've put yourself in a bad position. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I don't really feel the need to run around with an entourage. We had a conversation earlier. There are always people at the show outside of venue security or my security, always at every show that are there just in case. But very seldom are they ever needed. And the majority of the time in my career that I've needed them, it's because I've made the decision to put myself in a questionable situation.
Okay.
So, yeah, if you're safe, man, let's be honest, stay on the bus, you go play the show. I'm married with kids. I'm not trying to go out.
Right.
You know what I mean? We're laid back backstage. So we don't really find ourselves in bad situations very often anymore. So.
Have you ever gotten any tattoos removed?
No, I haven't. I'm kind of the opposite of somebody that has a bunch of tattoos they regret. I had some stuff covered up on the back of my arm. There's some stuff from a previous chapter of life that isn't a part of my life anymore and really didn't benefit me any. I learned my lessons from that stuff and the folks I was running with when that stuff went down. So, we covered that up and but that's about the extent of it. Everything else, man, there were tattoos that I wanted to get in an earlier chapter of life that I couldn't afford or didn't have time to get, that I got later in life. That I probably should regret, but I don't.
Are there is there anything off limits for your wife? Like, I know, like, can you jelly roll out or like on the face?
She wouldn't be stoked about face. And the neck thing, I have what I want to do. Here it wraps all the way around to the back of my head.
I mean, is that a big point of contention?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, we're not crazy about that.
Okay.
We're not crazy about that.
So is that going to happen, you think?
I don't know. It depends.
Okay.
We'll see.
But you wouldn't go up past that?
We're going to play that one by ear or neck,
Okay. So if you showed up with like something right here.
No. She'll cut off the cuddling, bro, and I can't be having that. You know what I'm saying?